Hey everyone, welcome back to Tester Hub. Today I want to walk you through a Android Studio Inspect tool. It's a simple way to spot unused code, catch potential bugs, and keep your project nice, clean, and tidy. So to start off, we are going to head over, open up your Android Studio, pick the project that you want to clean up or work on, or you're currently work on. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go here under Code. Under Code, we are going to select Inspect Code. And here we want to inspect the whole project. So we're going to hit Analyze. And it's going to take a few minutes, so we'll be right back. It's got to go through all your files. So let's just give that a second here. It's scanning. Alright, once your project has finished loading, inspecting, you're going to see it here under Inspections on Project, your project name. This project for me I've been working on for a couple weeks. It's not even halfway there, but as you can see we already have errors, warnings, weak warnings, and typos I'm not concerned of. Most of it sometimes is the project name, which is not a word, right? Something I came up with. But as far as priority, we want to work on errors. That should be top priority, followed by your warnings. So your errors could be that the code won't compile at runtime, or it won't compile, or it will crash during runtime. And it could also be missing resources, wrong method signatures, or unresolved references. As far as the warnings, it's likely bad practices, bugs. It'll run, but there might be something that could cause an error there, like depreciated APIs or mismatched types. And then weak warnings, those are nice to fix if you have the time. It's code style, naming conversions, performance tips, like unused imports. For instance, sometimes we're working on a project, we put some imports, you change it up, and then you leave that import up top, and nothing was done about it. So things like that, hard-coded strings instead of the hard-coded text instead of the string resources. So we're going to start off with our errors, right? As I said, that's priority 1. Let's take a look at that. So as we can see, most of them are coming here from the JSON and JSON 5. So let's expand that. This is 347, which is most of it. Open that up. Let's expand even further. And right here, it's just file. You see, JSON standard does not allow comments, right? So what we can do in this case is simply delete the comment. If you double click it, it'll come up here. Or you could work on the side, whatever you're comfortable with. Delete that, and there we go. So these are gone, right? So next we're going to do the following one. Does not allow trailing comma, right? So we can delete that, delete this, delete that. So now that's gone. Same thing here, trailing comma. $37. So these are comments. Delete all those. Okay. So now we have 3 more errors on this side, which are going to be these trailing commas. So we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. We have one more, which is here. Perfect. So just like that, we got rid of 30 something errors. And same thing with the rest of this. We'll just go down, see like this larger one has 50, right? It does not allow comments. That's a lot of comments. Sometimes, well, most of the time, these are auto-generated. But we can get rid of that, and just by going, down through this list, that would eliminate the 302 errors that we have left. So that leaves us with the important ones, which are here. The general, we have the edit, config, and correctness. So let me close this up. And we're going to start up here at Android lint correctness. So the error missing permissions. Call permission, which may be directed by user. So this is the recording. I'm missing a permission. Request. Okay. So going in here, some warnings here. We have, image without content description. So we'll open up the drop down, click on that. I'll double click it so it comes up here. And image, this one doesn't have the content description to do, so we'll put logo logo image, and then we're gonna extract string resource, right, to turn it into a string so it's not a hard-coded text and we're not trading one warning for another. So that one, that solved that. Sometimes it might not show that it was fixed here, but even if you click on it, you could see we have it here. We might just need to refresh it, but refreshing it's gonna have to load it all over again. So just my recommendation is work section by section, top to bottom, just like when you read a book left to right, right? So all these are missing content descriptions, which is not a crazy fix. Some of these here, attributes use older versions, current is minimum 36, and it's only 31, so that needs to be adjusted. This here, that this should be using strings, just so in case I'm translating my app, it'll show in those different languages the data that I'm providing here, because in this case it's display time, so in certain countries it is read differently than it is here in the US. Missing permissions, we already seen that one. We're gonna head over to here, new library versions available. So this is in the Gradle, just to update library versions. So here we're gonna have 5.20, available version is 6.67, right? So if we switch that up, 6.67, we're gonna sync our project. So sometimes you have to be careful with updating some of these versions, because at occasions when it updates other things that you're using, other things that utilize that dependency might not function the same after you update, right? So it's always best to run your app, make sure it works, it runs good, because again, it might depreciate and it might not use it anymore. So if you're adjusting dependencies, personally what I like to do is just one by one, and then just double check it, run it, make sure it's good. If it's good, then I continue with the other one. And I know it seems like a lot of work, but to me it's security, and it's a more secure way of doing it, right, for me. So let's wait for this to load, make sure it's running. Okay, so it looks good. Close that up. So now we have this here version 261 to 273, right? So we're gonna head here. quickly. I'm gonna sync, and that should take care of these new version errors. This one as well, different version. Gradle dependencies. Let's go over here. A newer version navigations. So like I said, just going through every category, making sure you cover most of these, and that'll keep your project nice, clean, and running smoothly. So hard-coded text, obviously for localizing our app, we need to eliminate this, right? If you double click it again, it'll take you to where it's at. And for instance here, for me, it's my menu. So it's as simple as extract string source, settings. So let's name that menu, just to categorize it a little more, right? Menu, settings. So here, contents. Okay, so that takes care of that. I'm going to close some of these windows up. And these are all hard-coded strings, right? So we want to make sure we get that. Now, one thing, if we're localizing, some of these hard-coded strings, obviously we see them here, but in occasions, there are some in, snack bars or toast. So let's see if I maybe go to fragments, record. So toast. I have a toast message here, right? But it doesn't obviously show here in my hard-coded strings. For localizing, it's important that we also translate these, because if not, your whole app is going to show as a different language, but the toast message, which are important, will show in whatever language you have set your code to be. In my case, English. So it'll show us English even if the user is using Spanish, which could lead to confusion. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now back over here. These as well, like I said, some of these I don't find necessary because they're just numbers, but that's just my opinion. Performance. Baseline attributes, which are important, recyclable data, more efficient to change to specific events. So here, provide feedback, press warning, convert to run. Again, just going through all these, top to bottom, and like I said, it'll keep your project running smoothly. It'll keep it clean. That way, any of these things here aren't taking up space, like unused resources here. So if we go on that, say some I'm not using here, which is this. So I head over here, res, drawable, background windows. So I'll click delete. Save search is always best to make sure I'm not using it everywhere, which is why I like to do it here than rather than to just deleting, from here. Now if you want to do something that's, to me, is crazy, because I'm just that person that likes to double check everything, you could hit here, remove all unused resources, and it'll just wipe this folder clean. In my case, it's 40 warnings, right? But I like to just do this instead, just to ensure, right? I work hard on my project, and one little mistake like that, if I forgot to commit my files, it'll set me back. It'll be lost in best of times. So I hit delete, save search, good. So I didn't need it. This here, big waveform. So I'll look for that one. Primary, delete, okay, and same thing down. All these, like there's unused strings that I don't utilize. So for instance here. CD email, enter your email. So we can get rid of that. That takes care of that. Productivity. So now going into that, we got 5 here and 2 here, so use the KTX extension function string to URI instead. Show context, replace with the URI extension function. That takes care of that error, this takes care of that error, and this takes care of that error. So it was as simple as that. Duplicate icons under different names. So this is just my what's it called, map, my icons, but they're for different screen sizes. So it's the same icon, just a different size name. Found bitmap drivable folder, density independent drivable folder, right? So open up here. This is where we have our 9 errors, aside from these 6 in here. Open up the drop down, edit configurations, off is not allowed. Okay. Same thing with these other ones here. It's all based on off. Now we just eliminate that if needed be. Overlapping sections. Test. The section overlaps another section. Okay. These, I mean, you could, you know, either suppress or get rid of. Annotation, right? This is just saying annotations, right? So I was expecting a comma, a quoted word, or another valid JSON snippet here, but instead I found something else. So this is definitely something to go through. This readme here, closing tag does not match. Small things like that, right? So let's close that up. Let's close this, close this. HTML. So accessibility, missing the alt attribute, 130 of those. So here on the image section, let's see. We always put that alt, right, in case the image doesn't load. A little brief description for the user to see. Obviously this is all time consuming, so the best thing that I can say about doing these types of inspections is that once you do your first project, you'll come here, you analyze your code, and you look at all these errors, right? So we learn from mistakes. And my first project, I mean, this thing was over 1,000. So it's coming by little, and I know better on some of these things, like hard-coded, you know, simple warnings like content description or, you know, permission sequence, things like that. But when I'm working on it, I just let my mind drift, and it's double the work, yes, but that's how I do it for now. It's something that I have to change on my end. But anyway, coming back here, you know, just analyze your whole code, clean up as much as you can, and just test your project as you clean up, right? Make sure everything is running smooth, make sure everything is running as it's supposed to, because you are changing a lot of your project files if you're fixing all this. But it is for the best, and that way it keeps your project running smoothly and less crashes or things as such on Google Play once your project is uploaded. Now, as I said throughout all my videos, please, you know, like don't forget to commit your changes. We changed a few files here. On my end, you know, we deleted some stuff like this. This is gone. This is gone. Here we added the content description for the image, strings here, updated some of the dependencies, things as such, right? So we always gotta commit our changes. Otherwise, it's pointless to fix them and come back to this and have it open where we were. So drop that down. Alright, well that's a wrap for using Android Studio's Inspect Code tool. Hopefully you can see how a few clicks can uncover hidden bugs, clean up dead code, and keep your project in tip-top shape. Um, like I said, try, just head over here, code, inspect code, your whole code, and just work off that. In spare time, just clean up even old projects. It's always good to revisit, especially if they're published, right? So keep them running smoothly, and yeah. Well, if you found this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to assist anybody, and hopefully this helps change your perception on building a project, right? Because like I said, after going through all this, you're most likely to have it in your head, and you're likely to avoid it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Tester Hub if you liked it. And till next time.